Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Karla Jodoin and today I am going to walk you through drawing one of my favorite flowers. They're just about to start blooming here in Ontario where I live, the wild rose. So let's get started. The few things that I'll be using for this drawing are a kneadable eraser, an HB pencil, a good sketchbook, and a black fine line drawing pen. I'll link all my favorites below. You just need a couple of tools and you can get creating. The first thing that I'm going to do here is a really light sketch with my HB sketching pencil, just to map out where I want the blooms to be on the page. I'm starting with a couple of loose circles that will indicate where the open flowers will be. I want to have 2 flowers, maybe I'll add in some buds afterwards. I'm going to draw a few light lines for some stems and leaves, and lightly map out where the petals will be on the bloom before I move on. For the leaves, just draw a line stemming from the main stem, and add 2 curved lines on either side of the final inch that touch on both ends. Keep it simple. Don't worry about adding in any details in this phase. These are just guidelines and they're going to eventually be erased. I'll add a few extra lines to keep me on track when I'm inking in the petals as well. I don't always add this much detail to my rough sketches, but I just feel like it will help you see what I'm working on throughout this video. Now I'm going to work with the Sakura of America fine liner in size 01 to draw the outline of the flowers in ink. I usually start by drawing the stamen or the center of the flower so that I have a point on the page to reference where all the petals will stem from. All that I'm doing for this is drawing a bunch of small circles together to fill up the center stamen that I sketched out in the draft phase. Zoom in a little bit here so you can have a closer look at what I'm doing. You'll notice it's just a whole bunch of these little tiny circles layered one on top of another until the whole circle is filled in. Once I'm done that, I'm going to add a few oval shapes around the outside of the circle. Now I'm going to start outlining the petals. Draw a solid line that starts at the stamen and it extends outwards. Now, I want you to keep in mind that no 2 petals need to look the same. Don't worry about having perfect lines or the perfect curve at the tip of your petal. Just look what I'm doing here. Each one is going to be unique. I'm going to add some dips and curves to some of them. This will help to add a bit of movement to the piece. And then along some of the lines that I made curve, I'm going to come in and draw an extra little line around it, just to indicate that there's a fold in the leaf. Again, this is just really to help create that lifelike feel to the piece and add some movement within the petals. Don't worry too much about having perfect lines. Just focus on having your petals extend from the center of the bloom or the stamen outwards. I'm going to add a couple more of those curved lines to show that the petal has a bit of a bend to it, and then I'll be done with the outline of the petals. So the next thing that I'm going to do here is start outlining the stem of each bloom. Now, all I'm going to do for this is draw 2 lines that are close together. Really simple. I'm not going to add any shading, no extra line work here at all. Just outlining what I have on the page with 2 really close together lines. For the lines inside the leaves, you'll notice that I'm tapering them toward the edge of the leaf. Just continue around with your pen, tracing that line with 2 parallel lines until you've traced out all of them. And then we'll move on to outlining the leaves. While you're outlining the leaves, don't focus too much on having perfect lines or straight lines. If you look at a real wild rose leaf, you'll notice that the edges are a bit jagged. So don't worry about having a perfect line. Just come in and have a bit of a curved line on either side of the leaf. Have it taper in toward the end, and you can even wiggle your pen a bit as you're working along the edges of the leaf. Just makes it look a little bit more lifelike. Now I'm going to go around the rest of the leaves that are on this page and fill them all in with these jagged lines that converge at the tip. And it looks like this is really starting to come together. Now we're ready to add some really simple details to the piece. All that I'm going to do is work in the same order that I outlined in, from petals to leaves, adding some short, quick lines to indicate shadow and help create dimension within the flowers. Notice how I'm concentrating all of the line work here toward the center of each of the petals. This helps create depth within the bloom. I'll work around all of the petals until they're all filled in with these really quick, short lines, and then I'm going to move on to the leaves. Now, the leaves have a little bit of a different system that I use for shading them in. This particular type of leaf I like to call the S-curve leaf, and you'll see exactly why in just a second. Work from the center line of the leaf toward the outer lines, drawing a very subtle S-curve. I'm going to layer these S's along each side of the vein or the center line of the leaf. Just remember to keep the S's really subtle. The point again here is to help create dimension within the leaf. I'm going to turn my sketchbook a little bit around while I work just to ensure that I always have a good angle to work from, and I'll continue drawing these lines until all of the leaves are filled in with the S-curve lines. Now that all of the S-curve lines are done, I'm going to come in with my pen and add some final details to the leaves. The line work here will be very similar to the detail lines we added to the petals. Just add some quick, light strokes along the S-curve. Keep them concentrated toward the vein of the leaf and the outer curved edge, as this will help create a three-dimensional feel. I hope you can see from this video how easily you can create something really beautiful with just a few really simple steps and a few basic shapes. You don't need any fancy materials or drawing experience to draw like this. So we have all of our detail lines done here. The last thing that we need to do now is just go in with our kneaded eraser or kneadable eraser, whatever you want to call it, and erase all of those light pencil sketch lines that we did to start off the piece. Try to use more of a dabbing motion than a rubbing motion, as you don't want to lift away any of the ink. And if you just lightly dab, you'll be able to pull up the graphite from the page and you won't compromise the dark ink lines that you've just created. And there you have it, our final wild rose drawing. I hope you enjoyed drawing with me today. If you did, please remember to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and turn on notifications so you'll always know when I drop a new tutorial. Thanks for being here today.